What is it that would get you to yes? I mean, and I think that you kind of danced around the illegal. You do want to provide health care to illegal immigrants that are here right now.
Is it true that you want to restore American taxpayer benefits to illegal immigrants?
Of course not.
Where is the calamity that you're talking about? And it almost seems like for Democrats, socialism is the answer to these problems. Or, I don't know, an end of democracy or something? We just don't get it.
Hakeem Jeffries just endured a public humiliation rarely seen in Washington. On live TV, a CNBC host shredded his excuses, exposing contradictions and lies that left him flustered and cornered. The fallout is brutal, calls for his resignation are mounting, and his credibility as a Democratic leader is hanging by a thread.
We just heard from House Speaker Mike Johnson about the potential for a government shutdown happening later tonight. Joining us right now to discuss it all is House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. And, sir, thank you for being with us today. I'm not sure if you heard what Leader Johnson had to say on some of these issues, but if you didn't, I'll kind of give it back to you. He said that this is a clean, continuing resolution that's been put forth. It's the same thing that the Democrats voted for 13 times under Biden. That this would keep the House open, would keep the government open, you could continue to negotiate, and he said that this is being done for pure politics, for Chuck Schumer's backside, I think were his exact words on this. Would you care to respond to that, sir?
The meltdown started in the middle of what was supposed to be a routine policy debate. Hakeem Jeffries, the polished House Minority Leader, walked into CNBC expecting another predictable conversation about the government shutdown. But what happened on live television was anything but predictable. Within minutes, the CNBC host tore through his talking points like tissue paper. It wasn't a discussion, it was an exposure.
Well, that's all a lie. It's not a clean continuing resolution. In December of last year, Democrats and Republicans actually passed a bipartisan bill that was signed into law by President Joe Biden and also had the blessing of then President-elect Donald Trump. That is the actual baseline of a bipartisan agreement. What the Republicans are attempting to continue at this point in time is a March partisan Republican spending bill that Democrats in the House of Representatives overwhelmingly rejected because we viewed it as an attack on veterans, an attack on child care, an attack on housing affordability, and an attack on the health care of the American people.
That's when his composure cracked. The smooth-talking lawmaker who prided himself on discipline suddenly looked rattled. His voice tightened, his tone defensive. The host pressed further. "You've called this bill dangerous, yet you voted for the same structure multiple times. Were you wrong then, or are you wrong now?" Silence. But it wasn't just a bad interview. It was a political unmasking. The CNBC host did what Jeffries' Republican critics had been trying to do for months. Expose the gap between his rhetoric and his record.
The existing tax benefits would fall off. He says that that should be negotiated separately and that they won't do it while there's a shutdown of the government. He also went on to say that this is in writing and from the Democrats, that they want health care for illegal immigrants to be part of this. They want to gut $50 billion that was included in the big, beautiful bill for rural hospitals, and that they want money there for corporate public broadcasting as part of this, too.
The one big ugly bill represented the largest attack on Medicaid in American history.
Where is the calamity that you're talking about? And it almost seems like for Democrats, socialism is the answer to these problems. Or, I don't know, an end of democracy or something? We just don't get it.
By this point, the tension in the studio was thick. Jeffries tried to turn the conversation toward moral outrage, accusing Trump of being unhinged and blocking governance. But the host hit him again. "You requested a meeting with Trump last week, didn't you? And he declined."
As Democrats, we believe in a strong floor and no ceiling. In America, you work hard, you play by the rules, you should be able to live the good life. And there should be no ceiling on your success, on your capacity to do anything in the United States of America. That's the great promise of this country.
That revelation cut through the air. Jeffries froze. The entire narrative flipped in real time. It wasn't Trump refusing to govern, it was Jeffries being shut out. The host didn't need to say another word. The silence told the story. After that, there was no recovery. His staff's post-interview spin only made things worse, calling the segment unprofessional and selectively edited. But the raw footage proved otherwise. It was a clean, uninterrupted exchange, one that showed Jeffries losing control of his own message.
America is too expensive, and Republicans haven't lowered costs. Costs are increasing. But we will not support a partisan Republican spending bill that continues to gut the health care of the American people.
Minority Leader, let me just ask you, I'm going back and just looking at this. I think the questions about illegal immigrants getting these benefits go back to a term that's in your proposal that you've put forth that says legally present immigrants are eligible for all of these subsidies. And there's a big question about what lawfully present means. Does that refer to people who are here under the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals programs? I guess there's different descriptions of what people see. What does that mean to you, a lawful preference?
The moment things went nuclear came when the $1.5 trillion healthcare bomb dropped. The CNBC host didn't waste time. She read the proposal on air, line by line, catching Hakeem Jeffries completely off guard. Democrats allegedly pushing a $1.5 trillion healthcare package benefiting illegal immigrants and lawfully present non-citizens? That's a headline waiting to happen.
We had a meeting with the President of the United States yesterday and made clear, we're not trying to change current law. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people. In rural America, in suburban America, in urban America, in small town America, in the heartland of America, in black and brown communities all across America. That's what we're doing. That's what this fight is about. Mike Johnson, but we have a very positive, forward-looking, communicative relationship, but he's been making the point that healthcare is an extraneous issue. No, healthcare is not an extraneous issue. It is a central issue to President Trump and to Republican leaders. We've made that clear repeatedly. It's a Republican talking point. In fact, I'm being gentle. It's a lie. We are fighting for the health care of the American people. And what we need to do is to address the Republican health care crisis.
What do you need by tonight?
Jeffries fumbled. He tried to clarify what lawfully present meant, stumbling over legal definitions, political jargon, and frankly, his own words. The more he talked, the less sense it made. His face tightened, his hands fidgeted, and every second on live TV made it clear he was cornered.
But this is a continuing resolution, and it's going to happen. All these things that you want to do, there's no way any of them are going to be negotiated by the time this happens. And if you shut down the government, you last time, Democrats point out, you lose FEMA, you lose troop pay, you lose all these different things that are so important to Democrats when they're on the other side of this. If you're not going to get all these other things settled, you need to do the CR to get the government funded and then return to this and do it in the normal course of business for Congress. What is it that would get you to yes?
This wasn't just bad optics, it was hypocrisy on parade. Claiming to fight for the poor while stripping rural healthcare budgets, that's not just contradictory, it's politically toxic. The host framed it perfectly, pointing out how these decisions made the Democrats look less like champions of the people and more like detached elites manipulating the system. By the time Jeffries tried to pivot to talking points about Republican obstruction, the audience had already seen the evidence for themselves. Every claim he made felt thinner than a single-ply tissue.
We have a little over 12 hours or so before midnight. I think what will be helpful is if Republicans in the House of Representatives actually return for duty.
For the first time, mainstream viewers were forced to question everything they had been told. Was the Democratic leadership exaggerating the crisis for political gain? Jeffries' credibility took another hit as the host laid out the facts in a calm, relentless manner. Every economic stat contradicted his warnings. Every claim about a looming healthcare catastrophe was undermined by the same proposal he had been defending. The more he spoke, the more the picture became clear. The narrative he was selling didn't hold water.
I think it remains to be seen where this is headed. I'm deeply concerned that the tariffs are going to exacerbate the inflationary challenges that we already have in the United States of America, the affordability issues that we have in the United States of America, particularly as it relates to consumer goods, and consumer goods that are going to be important to the American people as folks prepare to send their children back to school.
The meltdown was not just coming, it was inevitable, and it unfolded in real time on live television. About halfway through the segment, Hakeem Jeffries' carefully maintained composure finally shattered. The polished, disciplined House Minority Leader, known for his measured public demeanor, suddenly lost control. His voice rose sharply, cracking under pressure, while his face flushed a deep red, a clear sign of mounting frustration. Every attempt to regain footing only made him appear more flustered. He hurled accusations at former President Trump, labeling him unhinged and blaming him for the government shutdown as if shouting louder could somehow rewrite the facts. Each word spilled with a mix of indignation and desperation, yet it only highlighted his lack of control over the narrative. Meanwhile, the CNBC host remained ice cold and composed, calmly dismantling every claim with precision. Using statistics, past votes, and direct quotes, she methodically countered each point, allowing Jeffries' own anger and contradictions to do half the work for her. The clash was brutal, unrelenting, and utterly humiliating, cementing this interview as a moment of public political exposure. By the end, viewers were left in disbelief at just how completely Jeffries lost control.